What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Dermy Wormy, and last week I did a video on Queen Cleopatra. I love talking about Queen Cleopatra, the Queens of Egypt show, Queens of Africa. No, not Queens of Egypt, Queens of Africa show that's coming to Netflix. That is not historically accurate. Is very well, controversial because of how the how it portrays a very famous and prominent Queen of Egypt, and how even the people of Egypt don't like it. How reviewers started coming out and letting people know what they thought in certain pages here or there, saying that it was laughable, it was funny, it was awful. You have more people from Egypt saying, we don't like this, we don't want this, you're disgracing our heritage. And at the same time, you know, what's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith, the director, the actress who was playing Cleopatra, all started coming out and saying, oh, this is just racism, you're just hateful, why don't you want to see yourself as Africans? This is just a what devil. Actual things that was said and liked and appreciated. Well, about a week ago, show started coming out and couldn't find reviews. Couldn't see the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. They're out, and we now know why they were hidden. 2% by audiences, 10% by critics. And to a lot of you know, I don't like to use just Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic. 0.1 on Metacritic. 0.1. Nobody likes this show. And I also want to put this into perspective. Here's Velma. I watched Velma. I interacted with Velma. I reviewed Velma. I hated Velma so freaking much. Velma's sitting at a 7. Metacritic, 0.5. It is larger than Queen Cleopatra. It is liked more than Queen Cleopatra. Let's go Witcher Blood Origin. 13%. I did videos on this. I watched this with Hollywood scholar Jed and Mustang. This was god-awful garbage that had no cohesion whatsoever. 13%. Metacritic, 1.1. Again, higher than this. What you want to know something else? I really hated Rings of Power. Granted, Witcher Blood Origin is worse than Rings of Power, but I really hated Rings of Power, and a lot of people hated Rings of Power. Rings of Power is sitting at a 38%. Over on Metacritic, 2.6. These are just some of the worst shows that I could think of off the top of my head to help compare Queen Cleopatra's scores to everything else. And I think Velma is more important because for a while now, Velma was classified as one of the worst shows in America. Worst shows ever rated on IMDb history. Queen Cleopatra comes in and says, hold my beer. This is laughable. This is insane. You had backlash. Why did this backlash happen? You weren't properly representing Egypt. The Egyptians came out. They were pissed. And what did you do? What did Netflix do? What did the director? What did Jada Pinkett Smith? What did the actress do? They said it was just being racism. You're just being racist. You're not being racism. You're just being racist. Okay. On top of that, Afrocentrism doesn't exist. Okay, Afrocentrism doesn't exist. You're just being racist. You're just being bigoted. This is what happens. You went against an entire country to get to this point. How funny is this? Get woke, go broke. 2.0? No, 101. Right here in plain English. Queen Cleopatra, I usually argue, probably looked a little bit more like Gal Gadot. Just because when I argue this, I'm not saying racial wise, I'm saying skin color because of sun and tanning, things like that. But she was Grecian. She was Macedonian. I probably look more like the queens and kings of Egypt of old. That's the sad thing, is they don't want to accept this. They don't want to accept these facts that in different areas of the world, different people lived. Different people controlled different areas of the world. And I hear the same arguments. Well, nobody knew who Queen Cleopatra's mother was. Nobody knew who she was. Nobody knew what she actually looked like. We have sculptures. We have paintings. We have art history. We actually have DNA evidence of who she would have looked like, how she would have looked like, every little detail. But no, ignore all that. We're just going to go with this because Egypt's in Africa. And everybody in Africa must look alike. How racist is that? That's extremely racist. That is extremely hateful. No, Africa is a very diverse nation. Down in South Africa. Yes, you have apartheid, but you have white people in South Africa. In North Africa, you have a more Muslim integration, and more of them are primarily of a Middle Eastern descent, what have you. But at this time, when it came to Queen Cleopatra, Greece controlled Egypt. Not everybody always looked the same. Shocker. And now you're getting you're getting pushback. You're getting what was going to come to you. The interesting thing is, at one point in time, this was actually sitting at a 1. Obviously, people came in to try to say it's the greatest thing ever. Let's see some of these. Yep, 10. The scholars add depth and analysis to the I'm not even going to try. Riveting retelling of the Cleopatra story. The acting is excellent. James delivers, giving a nuanced and weighted performance, captivating and educational. I actually watched this, so you don't have to. The acting was subpar, and the story progressed like a soap opera. Primarily 1 stars, half stars, all sorts of stuff, and then you get the 10 stars. Excellent biographic depiction of the times and characters. Adela James nailed it. She is on the radar from now on. This was stunning and informational. I loved her portrayal of the queen. There was scenes that were so reminiscent of iconic pictures of Cleopatra, and I loved how it showed her hair realistically, creating the styles seen in hieroglyphics. Beautiful show and truly interesting. Well done. The thing is, though, they wouldn't need all that. You can still do the same hairstyle. But interesting how you're seeing stuff. You know, it's a bunch of half stars, maybe a 1 star here or there, but then 10 stars. All the stars. All the stars in the world. Interesting how that's happening. And I'm not saying it's getting review bombed. I'm saying people are actually disliking it, and the reverse is probably happening. But it ain't enough because you pissed off an entire country. So I'm just sitting here laughing while it goes on. Happens, I guess. Ignore what the audience has to say. Ignore facts. Ignore an entire country. And this is what happens. I'm going to leave it there, folks. Let me know what you thought about this all down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it out with friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live, guys. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.